Well, hello, internet people. It's been a while. Yesterday I came across a comment on Facebook, and wow, it was so amazing that immediately I was like, oh, I need to make a video about this. This comment, which was written on a feminist Facebook group, which I sometimes lurked in, it has everything. It's got like femsplaining, it's got internalized misogyny, it's got toxic masculinity, it's got emotional labor, victim blaming. Like, I'm astounded by the imagination the person who wrote this comment has to like bring all those ideas and concepts together in one coherent argument. Bullshit, but coherent, as you'll see. So the context is feminist Facebook group. They made a post which was a screen grab of a comment made on Twitter, and the comment was this: kind women are not free therapists. This is a complaint you might have heard before. This is something I've heard before. It's the idea that women not liking when men rely on them for like emotional support, or men who like unload all their emotion, bottle up emotion on them, and then women feeling used. It's just men having emotional issues, and these women feeling like those men are just abusing their kindness, their kind disposition, and in that, of course, you'll see like the victim narrative that's in there. And I find it funny that there's a bit like of humble bragging in there, like, oh my god, like I'm so kind and I'm such a good listener that all these men come to me, and it's like so annoying, the things I do for you people. So seeing that silly post, I made this following comment: and nice men don't owe you anything. Because feminists, they like to ask a lot out of men. They feel entitled to it. And it's always men need to do this, men need to do that, men need to say shut up and let the women speak. And I'm very annoyed by this. Like, men don't owe you anything. So first comment, a woman wrote this comment: it should be kind people are not therapists, and kind people don't owe you anything. Anyone can be taken advantage of, which I completely agree. And I like the fact that the removal of gender differentiation in there, it's not like men or women, which I find funny in feminism. Like, they're so against gender, like gender is a social construct, but then suddenly men are a problem of everything and women are just the poor victims. It seems like something's not working there. So, and then comes that wonderful lady named Alexandra, who wrote this masterpiece of feminist indoctrination. I've cut it up into segments because it was extremely poorly written. There's like the only, no commas, no period, just ellipses, which is like the 3 dots, no capital letters, so it was a bit of a mess. But I broke it up, and then I'm gonna comment each section. You'll see. So she starts, first off, she starts her comment referring to that comment I've just read. That's true, she says about this. But then she refers to the original post. But this is in reference to the problem of men not seeking professional help for their problems. This is the nice beginning of the femsplaining. You know, when feminists explain to you things that you already know, or how they tell you about the problems of men, and the more you read about their opinion of it, you realize they have no idea of how men lead their lives. They just heard what feminists have told them about men, which is, of course, full of sexism and bullshit. And, you know, in there's, you know, the problem of men not seeking professional help. It's like, oh, you know, men, you're failing, but hallelujah, feminism is here for you. Feminism got all the solution like you can ever had. And there's a lot, you'll see the victim blaming in there too. And what annoys me most about this is it's not especially accurate, because I've read something that said that the majority of men who've committed suicide, and I don't know the percentage in there, they had sought help at some point or in some ways. So this is just a negative generalization of men. Like, they don't seek out help. That's not true. Men seek out help. Maybe not as much as women do, which that's what her point is, but they do. She goes on. not searching out to male friends for support for mental health issues. Again, I don't know where she's getting that. Men have friends, they share, personal important stuff with them, they share issues with them, they don't just talk about boobs and sports and cars, which I think, like, that's what they think men talk about, I guess. And again, you have this generalization of what men are according to this feminist. She goes on to explain, like, why do men do this? Because she actually come up with a reasoning of why men do this. I mean, she makes shit up, but she has a reason. Like, wow. Because of internalized misogyny and relating talking and asking for help to being feminine, and therefore not something they can do and still be masculine. So men don't seek help because that's what girls do, and I guess it's their toxic masculinity that prevents them from getting the help that they need. I mean, like, this woman is just inventing facts to fit her theory. Like, she's noting these things men are doing, but she has these feminist beliefs, so the feminist belief must explain, like, the facts. No, it's the opposite. It's like you're a very bad detective here. And I've heard so many men say that when they try to open up to people, they're rebuked, they're mocked, they're not listened to. Even feminists say that. You'll see that men saying, oh, well, I feel very oppressed by feminist narrative. And then, oh my God, like a tempest descend upon them. Like, oh, shut up, man, you don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, men talk to each other. The reason they learn not to is because it's perceived negatively. Society doesn't like that. Men, women included in that. Women will put down a man who complain or cry about their problem, even though that's what they want men to do. She continues, which then leads them to putting incredible emotional pressure on women with whom they seek out relationship because it's their only outlet. And right off the bat, you can see that she's already contradicting herself, because she just said men don't speak out about their problem. And then suddenly, no, they speak out, but they seek out, like, poor little kind women to abuse and oppress, I guess. That's what she's meaning there. So they don't, seek help from friends, they don't seek professional help, they just like to use women, which is, again, negative generalization of men. It's, again, painting women as poor little defenseless victim of these bad men, and a huge fucking contradiction. The best line is the next one, and you'll see it doesn't need much explanation. This is not men hating. It's about helping men. This is literally the feminist version of, I'm not racist, but... I'll leave it at that. She continues, men are killing themselves because of this. There's a massive problems with it. That's about the only part I agree. But the problem doesn't come from the men. It comes from society and the way it treats men. Listen to men. Empathize with them. Stop telling them they're a problem for everything. Like, if you women were told that all problems on earth are caused by them, they wouldn't like it. Why do you expect men to like this? Like, it's really about feminists who needs to be more selfless. They're so selfish in their ideology. Every time they tell men to do something, to change something, the bottom line is that it's gonna help women in some way. Like, men need to learn to talk about their feelings to the right people. Why? So that women don't have to do all this emotional labor. So you're not helping men here, you're helping yourself, which is manipulation or gaslighting, as they might call it. Oh, they love that one. She continues, men need to be forming bonds with each other. They do. That's what a friend is, or a buddy. And then she says, and also engaging with and learning the language to discuss their mental health in a constructive way that isn't just talking it all out on the nearest kind seeming women. Victim blaming again, negative generalization of men. Notice how men here are lacking something that women possess. Women can talk about this and not annoy anybody, but you can't do that, and you need to learn how to do that. Again, men need to change. They need to do better. And there's a bit of that feminization that we sometimes talk about, like we women do these things more efficiently than you. Like, we've learned how to process this better. And if you were more like us, you wouldn't have all these problems. Which I think is fucking funny, considering that if, two female best friends talk to each other about their problem they experience, you won't consider that emotional labor at all. And considering that I've heard and seen so many men complain about their girlfriend, their abuse they receive from them, how emotionally unstable they are, how they get their way all the time, how demonic they act sometimes. Like, men have very valid grievance against women, but you don't see men complaining, all the emotional labor I'm doing because of this women. Like, this isn't a gendered issue. This is just classical feminist nagging, or even female nagging. Like, women are known a lot more to nag than men are. And this is exactly the kind of comment that give feminists such a bad name. Like, I had a tweet recently that said something along the line of, the reason people think feminists hate men is because feminists keeps mentioning their hatred of men. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This negative connotation that's always associated with men. And the only time you see men positively is if men accept to change to please them, to please the women, to please the feminists, so that society can become better. Which is like bullshit. So yeah, I saw this wonderful comment yesterday and I was like blown fucking away by it. Like, this is why I hung out on this feminist Facebook group that I don't go too often anymore, because there's so much like bullying and insults and all that. That's why I like Twitter better. So yeah, that's it. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking and sharing and subscribing to my channel. Come check me out on Twitter. I wrote stuff on my WordPress too, and you're welcome to read it. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.